right arm over the wicket. It's a great shot.
Get ready for the weekly dose of cricket updates, commentaries, predictions, interviews with cricket stars and a look at the local cricket scene with host Archan Mehta and Dr. Nilesh Mehta in show Cricket Bars every Sunday 4 to 5 p.m. only on Radio Zindagi 50.
Well, a lovely day to all of you. My name is Dr. Nilesh Mehta and I'm joined by Stuart Law, who is, of course, the USA men's cricket team coach. We all know about Stuart Law when he was announced as the cricket coach for the men's team. Of course, Stuart Law captained Queensland for 5 Sheffield Shield titles, and he was the most successful Australian captain in the domestic circuit. He has, of course, coached countries like Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, West Indies, the county in Middlesex, and of course, a brief stint with Afghanistan as well. He was the Wisden cricketer in 1998. And in 2007, Stuart Law was the Medal of the Order of Australia. With that brief introduction, Stuart, it is my distinct pleasure and honor to welcome you.
Doc, thank you very much, and a beautiful introduction. Thank you very much. It brought back great memories.
So we are going to go into some question and answers for this segment here. What was your main kind of deciding factor, the driving forces that made you, number one, consider the USA men's cricket team coaching stint? And what was kind of the thought process at that time?
Well, the thought process was when this was presented to me, the opportunity to take a USA cricket team to a World Cup for the first time was something pretty inviting, to be honest. See it as a great challenge to work with some of the great some of the great associate cricketers going around. But also trying to help them become the best they can be. So, look, it wasn't something I took lightly. I see it as a fantastic opportunity to get in when USA cricket's right at the grassroots and hopefully build something that's strong that can keep building on top years to come.
Have you been to the US frequently, and you've had a lay of the land over the last few years or decades?
I've been here on holiday. I haven't been here. A couple of times I've come in for work with Sri Lanka. When I was with Sri Lanka, we played New Zealand here in a couple of matches. And then when I was with the West Indies, we played a few they were all in Fort Lauderdale. So I've seen a bit of the cricket in this country, but no, now I've got a real taste, a real appetite to get into it. I've seen what Houston's got. I've seen what Dallas has got. I'm looking forward to seeing the temporary stadium, unfortunately, in New York, but also back down to Fort Lauderdale to see how the cricket's progressed and what USA holds. But talking to the boys, the players particularly, they're very hopeful that the cricket scene here is on the up. If we can get a few more interested, youngsters involved in the game. Hopefully USA cricket will start gaining momentum and being stronger, which will then obviously stand it in good stead for survival in this part of the world.
You talked about the pitches, New York and Fort Lauderdale. You come from the land where drop-in pitches are not a rare commodity. MCG, for example, uses a drop-in pitch when they play their cricket. In terms of drop-in pitches in general, with the weather in the US, and of course the doctor for the pitches is from Australia, from South Australia, from Adelaide. Do you think that the pitches and how they are nurtured, how they will behave in terms of the whole drop-in concept or homegrown locally, does it really matter? It's like when you are in Arizona. You want a plant that is native to Arizona for it to survive. If you bring something from Chicago to Arizona, it's going to be dead. So just kind of conceptually help us out.
Yeah, look, the science and the technology now involved in producing cricket pitches has gone, ahead in leaps and bounds. The boys that have put these pitches together, they're not just doing any type of grass. It'll be grass that's suited to, survive in a concrete bed, but also New York's probably not going to get that direct, super hot conditions like you would do down in Texas or Arizona. But it'll be conducive to what the conditions do hold. They've done it for long enough now, and when you think Adelaide, where the groundsman's from, during the height of summer, it can get up to 45 degrees Celsius, which is quite hot, and it's a really dry heat. And then in the winter, when they're out the back, just surviving, it can get down to close to zero. So, look, they do have that extreme. He'll have all the technology, all the know-how, how to produce them. It probably just depends on how they go into the ground, and that ground's got to be super flat for them to be working. When they first started the drop-in wickets, they weren't very good. But year after year, the ground staff and the people involved in it, they've learned how to make sure that they can still get that consistent pace and bounce in them. So I think the ones we see in the World Cup will be excellent cricket pitches, and something to, hopefully at the end of the World Cup, I hear that they're going to be donated to USA Cricket, certain parts of the country, which would be great for the grassroots level as well, to have ready-made cricket pitches there. Just need someone to have the know-how to look after them.
Yeah. When you say good pitches, when you say a good pitch, it's a relative term. Good for the spectators to see fours and sixes being hit out of the park, or good for bowlers who will go a little bit of bite.
I say a good pitch is an even contest between bat and ball. So there's something in it for everybody. My experience on drop-in pitches, they don't spin a great deal, but there's enough there. They can be fast and bouncy. I know the one in Perth at the big Optus Stadium they say it's one of the fastest in Australia. Adelaide, they say, is quick as well. So the guys have got the formula to produce good cricket pitches. Good cricket pitches aren't the ones that you play 250 playing 250. That to me is a bit boring. If you see 160 playing 170, that's a pretty decent game of cricket.
When you talk about the life expectancy of a pitch, particularly a drop-in pitch, is there like a life expectancy where after a few years that drop-in pitch is kind of taken out and something else is planted in its place?
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. I mean, they renovate them after every so often, and the renovation should create that growth underneath. So I'm not a gardener myself, mate. I do enjoy mowing the garden, but I'm not a gardener. I don't know exactly how all that works. But having talked to a few, having seen them in action, if they keep renovating, scarifying, top dressing, the pitches should survive pretty much for a long time.
Stuart, in terms of coaching the players of the USA team, this team is almost like a mini United Nations, if you will, with players speaking different languages. They come from different countries, different backgrounds. So how do you speak one cricket language, so to speak, with the boys?
I've had a pretty good upbringing in regards to coaching. Having spent most of my coaching life in non-English speaking countries, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. But there's one thing that's synonymous throughout those two places: the language of cricket. The cricket terms are generally the same. I might not understand everything that's being said, but if they're talking cricket, I can sort of pick up what's going on. And you talk about United Nations, coaching the West Indies, where you've got 13, 14 different regions who are fiercely competitive against their neighbours, and every island you go to is a different country, and they have different beliefs, they have different cultures, they have different language. So to get them to play together was a challenge. So it's not so much that. I mean, talking to the players here, they're very respectful of the flag that they represent now. Even if they weren't born here or haven't been here that long, they're still very respectful of representing the USA people. And I think that's a great thing. We stand there, we listen to, well, we will be singing it, but we listen to the national anthem before the matches at the moment until we get a grasp on how it actually goes. But once again, respectful. We want to provide the USA with something to be proud of. We want them to get on our support wagon, tune into the TV, come to the grounds, and really just throw their support behind the boys. And if that happens, I'm sure the boys will be jumping out of their skin, number one. But I think we talk about this and that, but I think once we start talking cricket, the language is pretty simple.
Right, right. Is Stuart Law a coach who is a strict disciplinarian, or is he a friendly guy, or is he like a business coach where things are done in my way, or you take the highway?
Yeah, no. Look, I've learned over the years. I probably did come in too hard at times. And I've learned along the line when I've gone along this coaching journey. You've got to change. The world's changed. The way we deal with people has certainly moved in an area where some people don't agree with, but it is what it is at the moment. So we've got to make sure that as coaches, we're continually changing, continually, seeking different ways to get a message across. And look, right now, I still expect players to turn up and do their work. And if they're not doing their work, well, the conversation needs to be had. And the one thing that probably has got me into trouble a lot is I tell the truth, and the truth from my point of view, not from everybody's point of view, but from what I've seen and what I think will make you a better, a person, or a better, sportsman, a better professional. So that's where I'm at. At the moment, I'm very friendly. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I've come into this group and I said, look, I don't want you to play the way I want you to play. I want you to play the way you want to play, and I'll be here to support you, to help you, achieve what you want to do. And I think that's the only way you can. Not the only way you can survive, but I think it's a way to survive for a while. And if it's not working, well, then you need to sit down and have that honest conversation with the player. So a bit of both. I expect. I don't expect perfection. Cricket's the worst game for perfection. You'll never be perfect at cricket. But I expect 100% effort. Dedication to the cause, and team always coming first.
In terms of the strengths and weaknesses of the USA men's cricket team, can you enumerate a couple of strengths and a couple of weaknesses, what you have seen so far?
Yeah, look, I think with the batting, we've got some power, that's for sure. You got Stephen Taylor, who's been around for a long time, who's been regarded as one of the best associate players the world's seen. And now we've got experience in not only in Stephen, but experience in Corey Anderson joining the squad now, and he's been to World Cups, he's played in World Cups and done really well on them. So to have him in the dressing room, in the dugout is of great benefit to the youngsters. There are players who have played a lot of cricket in our team, but they haven't played at this level, and it's a big step up. So to have someone of that experience who's been there to help those guys through, I think is really beneficial. Our spin options seem to be, very good. We've got a variety of spin options. Our fast bowling, I think, is only going to get better. I haven't seen Ali Khan up close in a match. I've seen him at practice. I haven't seen him in a match, but I'm told it's very exciting what he can bring to the table. So, I don't think we're going to be the easy beats that some people might think. I think there's going to be a few times when our team will definitely stick a few people on notice, and hopefully, you never know, we might be able to pinch a win of one of the big teams. That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, you talked about the spinners. I mean, you have Harmeet Singh, Nisarg Patel, Nosh. Three left-arm spinners. So you certainly have a lot of good spinners at your disposal. And of course, the fast bowler, if Ali Khan comes back fully fit and looking good, he certainly will provide an excellent weapon for you. And like you said, a surprise along the way, could upset the apple cart.
Yeah, and the good thing about T20 cricket is, it whoever's turned up on the day. If someone has a bad day and we have a good day, you just never know. It just could be that opportunity that we're looking for, and hopefully we're good enough to grab hold of that opportunity.
Now, playing in Dallas, Florida, and New York, all, of course, venues in the US, do you think that we will have a home court advantage playing in front of our own guys? With the stadiums, I'm sure, will be packed.
Yeah, I think that will be packed. I think the games in Dallas have been sold out for quite some time, and we play Canada, which is our first game, and what a first game to start with. The oldest history of a international cricket match in the USA and Canada. Who'd have thought? So yeah, it's whether we have home ground advantage, I don't know. Yes, some of our boys have played in the Major League Cricket here in Dallas. They played minor league here as well at the Lone Star Stadium or Grand Prairie. It's tough, because we haven't played in New York. No one's played on the ground in New York. Fort Lauderdale, a few boys have played there, but I'm sure that there's the international boys as well that played a bit of cricket there also. So I wouldn't say we've got out and out home ground advantage, but what we do have is the excitement of being available to play in great cricket conditions here in this country. And if we do get that support from the home crowd, it'll be awesome. I just hope that everyone loves the underdog like we do in Australia.
Yes, exactly. I mean, being underdogs and surprising a few is always exciting. At least for me, I'm an underdog guy, so obviously.
Righto.
Stuart, as the head coach of the cricket team, what are your main priorities and goals leading up to the T20 World Cup?
The main goal for me was just to get in and understand, build relationships, number one, with players and staff that are around me. And you know what? It's good relationships can create really good environments. So that's been the number one thing at the moment. It's been a little bit disjointed because we're in camp together, and then we had a week break, and then we came back and we played the series against Canada. And I felt we started really building good momentum together and started really enjoying what we were doing. And now we've had a bit of time away. Some of us got together last week. A few more are getting together this week. And then we all come together on the 16th. So by the time we hit the 16th, that's when we get our serious heads on. For me, all I want to see us do in every game that we play, I just want to see us play, number one, with a smile on our face, because it's enjoyable doing what you're doing. I just want to see us compete at every level. It doesn't matter if we win or lose. I just want to see the competitiveness. And if we do get some of the boys I've seen got real competitive spirit, if we get them firing on the day, well then wins will come about. So for me, it's not about progressing through the next phase. That'd be a dream come true. I think we've got to be realistic in our expectations as well, and make sure that we maintain those expectations throughout the whole process. But number one, mate, just build relationships, enjoy each other's company. World Cups are very special to play in. They don't come around very often, and fingers crossed we can get out there and give a good account of ourselves.
The Canada series, obviously, USA did remarkably well, completely blanking the Canadians in that particular series. With the Bangladesh series coming up, it's going to be a good litmus test, if you will, for the US team, because now you're playing against a team that is known to surprise a lot of people in the previous World Cup. So Bangladesh coming up, I think it's a great setup for you and the boys to be headed into the World Cup, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great challenge for us, that's for sure. Bangladesh have come on in leaps and bounds in the last couple of years. They've got a very good pace bowling attack. They're renowned for their spin bowling, but they've got a very good pace bowling attack now, and their batsmen have always been there and thereabouts in world cricket. So, what a great challenge for us. We play them. We got 3 matches in Houston down at Prairie View, and then we come up here and we play a warm-up game against them here at Grand Prairie. So we'll see them 4 times. We'll get an idea of what we're up against, and they're a pretty good benchmark to see where we're actually at. So I think all the boys are excited about playing Bangladesh. I'm always excited to play international cricket, but against some of the boys that I coached many years ago, and it should be nice catching up with them, number one, but it'd even be nice if we snuck a win or 2.
Well, you probably know some of their weaknesses, which could be an advantage for Team USA. You never know.
Yeah, you're right. I'll keep them under my hat though.
Yeah.
and until I'm in a meeting with the boys.
Right. In this IPL and even last year, they introduced that impact rule and the 2 bouncers rule. T20 format in general appears to be so heavily favoring the batters than the bowlers. Sometimes the bowlers are just like, I hate to use the word spectators, but they are just getting hit all over, no matter where they bowl. And the impact rule, I just wanted to kind of get into your brain, Stuart, and see what you thought about this impact rule and the 2 bouncer rule.
I like the 2 bouncer rule. It's a real weapon if you got fast bowlers. So I like the 2 bouncer rule. That's one thing. You're right. This game, T20 particularly, it's stacked in the batter's favour. There's a batsman doesn't get punished if he has a swing and a miss. It's like the bowler overstepping, having to bowl another ball. The impact rule, I'm not 100% convinced on it. I've seen it used in different parts of the world. Not so much the impact rule, but there's been you can have 12 in your team and you only play 11, et cetera, et cetera. I just don't mess too much with the fabric of the game of cricket. I think if you've got 11 players there and someone's having a bad night, you shouldn't. Cricket isn't football, and that's where football you can sub off 3 or 4 players, 6 players if you want. But cricket, I don't think you should be able to do that. I think it's geared for a batsman. If they come out and they bat first and they make 80 runs, they don't have to field. And part of the game is you've got to be fit, you've got to be skillful, and you've got to show commitment to the team. And it's a 40 over game. It's not a 20 over game because you've got to bat for 20 overs and you've got to field for 20 overs. If you're only playing 20 overs, to me it's not right. I disagree with it, but it's only my opinion.
Yeah. In addition to the on-field performances of cricketers, what role do you see the US cricketers play in kind of nurturing, developing cricket talent, spreading the word within the country? In other words, do you see a Corey Anderson or a Harmeet Singh bring about renewed interest in the youth of this country? Give you an example. I have a son who I wanted him to play cricket, but he played soccer. Now, was it my fault that I didn't expose him to enough cricket in the Chicagoland area? Perhaps. But how do cricketers of this generation who are playing for the national team, do you see a situation where Corey Anderson or Harmeet Singh or Saurabh Netravalkar, they would see them perform so well and say, "Oh, I want to be a Corey Anderson, or I want to be, a Harmeet Singh."
Yeah, I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are people out there, kids watching the game of cricket who know cricket. The one thing in this country, not many people know about the game of cricket. When you mention cricket, they think about a mobile phone company. Then you do get the people who know cricket, who will be watching, who will get excited. Some of the youngsters I saw, I was fortunate enough to coach the Bangladesh team in the recent Under-19 World Cup, and we played against the USA. The USA had a couple of young kids who were very good, a couple of pace bowlers, a right-hand batsman, and an off spinner. and I reckon they've all woken up at some stage. Yes, they might have seen their heroes from other worlds and what have you, but I reckon that if we play well, if we something inspirational happens on a cricket field um, in the first 4 games that we play in the World Cup, I'm sure it'll trigger something in young kids. So every player, every coach, every administrator has a role to play to increase to increase cricket's profile in this country. And the way we can do that is players talk positively about the game. Everyone talk positively about how the game has come, how far it's come in this country, and hopefully on the cricket field we can show them how far it can go. So everyone's got a part to play, not just certain individuals, but definitely we will find in this World Cup. I'll guarantee you, we'll find a cult hero from the USA who the crowd will jump on and love. It might be then they might become the face of USA cricket.
Right. No, I think that's well said. Well said. In terms of injuries in cricket, I particularly noticed that there are more injuries occurring now than players of your generation, perhaps. Now,
Yep.
does that mean that you guys did not hit the gym as hard as the current guys? Maybe, maybe not. But
Yep.
do you see a trend developing, Stuart, where the players are becoming more injury prone?
Um, I think everyone's a little bit more aware of their bodies nowadays. If we had a slight hamstring problem or a calf problem or a broken finger, cracked finger that you could still get a right way with playing, but it was a bit uncomfortable. We were told by our senior players, just get on with it. Don't. Nowadays they're more aware. They know what's going on. I think if I went into into an MRI, a scanning machine, and had my whole body scanned, I'd come out with about 45 injuries. So the technology and the information that everyone can receive now on certain parts of the body, etc., it does show up certain things. Cricket's not easy on the body. Everyone says, "Oh, you just stand there," but that's not the case. The stress, a fast bowler or a bowler, it's the most unnatural movement for a human body to go through. So if you don't get it right all the time, there's going to be problems. I've got to be careful what I say here because the sports scientists that have come into the game were designed to come in to prevent injuries. They haven't. The injuries are still there. They may not be as severe as they possibly could have been, but they're still there. So they haven't really prevented them. But what they have done is they've stopped the player playing earlier. Otherwise, back in the day, you would have kept playing through and it would have been career ending. So they stopped them playing earlier, then they know how to rehab them. And I think the shining example of that is Pat Cummins, as a young kid, got stress fractures in the back, missed 5 years of cricket. Trying to come back, still injured and what have you. And Cricket Australia took him aside. They gave him a program. They let him heal completely. And now he's probably the best cricketer in the world. So that's where sports science has come in to help. They haven't prevented the injuries like people were told that the injuries are going to go down. They haven't. But what they have done is they've been able to identify the injury earlier and then provide the necessary rehabilitation to get the player back better and stronger than they were before.
Yeah, no, I think that's so true. We've definitely seen. I mean, the case in point is Hardik Pandya of India. He's he's not been bowling his 4 over quota for so many games, and you wonder something is going on that is not that we do not know of. But moving on, among the Indian bowlers that you have seen, is there anybody that kind of stands out for Stuart Law that, oh boy, this guy, I wouldn't want to face this bowler?
My favourite is Mohammad Shami. I must say, I know he's injured at the moment, but I saw him when I was coaching the West Indies in India in a Test match, and my word, the skill level of that bowler is unbelievable. He's fast. He's not tall, very strong, but he's not tall. He's very skiddy, but I just loved his seam presentation. He's always at you. He looks like he's injured running in. It looks like he's hobbling on one leg, but then he comes in and he bowls at 145. So he's one that's really impressed me over the last couple of years. Or Jasper Bumrah's real class and very difficult action to get your rhythm and your timing as a batsman correct. And then you got Mohammad Siraj, who just comes in and just gives it to you. He's in your face. He's the one who stirs the pot. But he's also got some really good skill and good pace. So look, India for many years now, last 5 to 10 years, they produced some world class, fast bowlers, and I think it was something that was missing in their repertoire. They had always had the spin. They had skill bowlers who could bowl swing and a little bit of seam and whatever, but now they got some of the fastest bowlers on the planet. So they're just deep. This was his name, Mayank. He just
Agarwal? Oh yeah,
no,
Mayank Yadav.
fast bowler.
Mayank
Mayank
Yadav.
Yadav, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
look, just watching him in the IPL, you think, my word, he's. I did watch him the first couple of times. So if he keeps going this hard, he's going to snap in half. And unfortunately, the kid's injured. But
Yeah.
what an excitement machine, But for me, mate, out of them, Mohammed Shami, hands down, is my favourite. It's a shame he's not going to be in the World Cup. Not a shame for us because we play India, but shame
Right.
for the other teams that they had to play against. He's one of my favourites, mate. I've always loved watching him bowl.
Now, Shami had Achilles injury and had surgery, so he's going to be out for an extended period of time. But in terms of his comeback after an Achilles injury as a coach, do you think he's going to be the same Shami that we saw pre-Achilles surgery?
Yeah, it'll depend on which leg it is. I'm unaware of which leg it is, whether it's the leg that he lands on, or if it's not his landing leg, he's got more of a chance. But he probably won't be the same. Fast bowlers, the longevity in fast bowling is not there. So fingers crossed for him. I hope he's able to still live a happy and healthy life after cricket. But he might not be as fast. One thing that won't leave his body is his skill level. So he might have that ability to bowl a fast bouncer, but just the skill level to keep seaming it around. I hope he comes back. If he doesn't, I think that'll be understandable considering the injury he's had. But fingers crossed he gets fit and well and he's back terrorising batsmen soon.
The Aussie team for the World Cup, were you surprised with any exclusions or inclusions?
To be honest, no, not really. Probably the big talking point will be Steve Smith. Everyone else will say Jake Fraser McGurk, but the big talking point will be Steve Smith missing out. But I think for a long time he's a wonderful player, but he's probably not where T20 cricket is now. You look at the way that those teams set up now. They don't have a player who bats at number 3, and if they lose 2 quick wickets, they go in to stop the wicket flow. They just send someone else in to try and hit sixes. So that's the way the game's gone. So maybe it doesn't suit certain players necessarily. Steve Smith, I think, as I said before, wonderful player, but there may be better options around Australian cricket. So that's probably the number one. The rest of the team, it's basically the team that won the T20 World Cup in Abu Dhabi. So I don't see too many changes. No, it's pretty much how it should be, mate.
Yeah. And have you been following the IPL closely?
Not closely, but close enough. As and when it's a bit difficult to get coverage in the hotels here in the US or the IPL. Willow doesn't come on that often, but the games I have seen, yeah, look, the 270s, the 280s, the 290s that teams are getting now, it's incredible. It is. It's great batting. I think there you go. The bowlers, it's a nightmare for the bowlers, the poor guys. The wickets are fast. The wickets have got, grass on them, good even bounce, and the boundaries are 65 metres. So not much chance for the bowlers in those conditions. But some of the batting has been unbelievable. The Sunrisers of Hyderabad have been great in that respect with, Travis Head opening the batting, getting hundreds, Heinrich Klaasen coming in and finishing it off. It's just been good to watch.
Yeah. Who do you like better, Stuart Law, the cricketer, or Stuart Law, the coach?
If you ask someone else, they probably don't like either of him. Look, all day long, I'd rather be a player all day long. But having said that, I'm pretty comfortable with what I did and where I am right now. So look, I'm just happy being who I am and enjoying my time. It's been a long ride in the game of cricket. The game of cricket's been great to me. So hopefully I've got a few more years left in being the coach. But look, mate, be a player every day of the week.
What kind of legacy does Stuart Law have in his mind that he's going to leave behind? And in your second innings now that you are playing as a coach of a national team, and you coach so many other nations too, Sri Lanka, West Indies, Afghanistan.
Look, I just, as a player, I always wanted to be, the tough competitor. I think I achieved that in spades. And as a coach, the understanding coach. It took me a while. It's been a long ride, but it took me a while to get the terms. I was still, in my early years as a coach, I was still probably more swayed to the playing mentality rather than the coaching mentality. And now that's changed, the legacy I want to leave, I want to leave the memories to people that I coached, that I was hard, but I was fair. I was always, approachable, and hopefully that I'll produce some good cricketers for years to come. I look back fondly now with the boys that I've coached in the under-19 Bangladesh side, Mehdi Miraz, Nazmul Shanto, who's now captain of Bangladesh. I had a bit to do with them during an under-19 World Cup, and mate, seeing them perform well on the world stage just gives me a really good feeling inside. So, that's where I'd like to continue doing that.
Good. Well, on that note, I want to end this interview with Stuart Law. I certainly appreciate your time, Stuart, on this busy evening, and wishing you all the best to you and your family. And of course, good luck to the USA and coaching the USA men's cricket team in this upcoming World Cup in June of 2024.
Nilesh, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure and nice to meet you face to face.
Thank you.